welcome to the Noise Show. I have to say before I start today that today is not about hitting the beat. It's not about dancing. It's about dreaming yourself away and, if you want to, learn more about the data bender. Because I've seen a lot of videos online about the data bender, and there are a lot which is only telling half the story. So I will try to go deeper. But first, let's start here and make some noise. 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 Nice. Nice. A few people have turned up since I started, so today is not about dancing or stuff like that, as usual. I don't dance. So it's not about a clock. It's well, it is, but it's not about beats. Well, they will come too, but it's not about them. It's about noise. Simply noise. 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 I am clocking everything from Keystep Pro, from the drum tracks. I use a clock for the clock in the data bender. The same, no, it's not the same, but I also use a clock for the FX8 Pro ping pong delay. It may be out of sync because I have to adjust the parameters, but it's okay. And then I use another gate from the drums drum outputs on the KeyStep Pro to freeze the data bender. And why I do it in the drums on a drum track in the KeyStep Pro is because I can take 16 steps and I can make on 1, on 5, on 9, and 13, 14, 15, and 16. I can make clocks that are doubled and halved, and I can do a lot with the clocks that way. So I'm not just using the clock output. It's boring. So this is how I do it. And I also has a bass sequence which is should be playing on the Polyend Synth, but I have some trouble with the Polyend Synth. Sometimes it's playing what I've made, but when I switch it off and turn it on again, then all the settings are there, but it's not playing. So that's a bit weird. But it can play tracks like this, if you can hear it. And that's why I have connected it like that, is because I would like to demonstrate some of the melodic things in the data bender today. Last week and the weeks before was about the ambient randomized stuff. Today it's also that, but also the melodic stuff, what the data bender does to melodic stuff. But not only melodic stuff, also to speech, like here, some ambience from an airport. And then, of course, I have added the DC2, the Joyo delay to my voice, so I sometimes say noise, 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 noise. Today I'm using the corrupt function in the data bender a little bit different than usual. It's because it has a DJ mode, and there are two things I can do in the DJ mode. I can add a vinyl noise, which I don't know why I should, and I can use a filter. When it's counterclockwise, it's a low pass, and it's a high pass when it's clockwise. I could use the usual corrupt functions where it's just adding noise or distortion to the input or processed signal. But that's boring. That's boring. If I wanted to distort something, I'd just do it in the mixer. It's the easiest way. But okay, there are lots of ways to distort. I know. So the corrupt mode. Let's walk through it. I have to look at the manual while doing that. And of course the browser keeps behind the other windows, which it shouldn't. Of course. Well, let's see here. I have it down here. Yeah. The corrupt modes are usually where it can decimate the signal. It can make dropouts, and it can destroy this. That'll say make distortion, distort the signal. And then there's a DJ filter. It's violet when it's the DJ filter, and there's a vinyl simulator, which is not the one I'm using. I can try to shift to that one. I'll put it in the middle before that. You can hear it. So let's take the first mode, where we can decimate the signal. It's bit crushing and downsampling. I should put something better on so you can hear what's happening. I'll load something. Let's take back there. We'll take some vocals. There. Let's hear them at first, and without any effects here. There are some effects on, and that's because I haven't reset the data bender. Let's reset it at first. So shift, break, that will recall the defaults. But because I'm clocking it, it will still remember some of the frozen stuff. So I'll quit the clock, and that'll say I'll have to start the torso manually. And it sounds like it's pitched. Ooh, it's the wrong sample. Let's see. I should have loaded it on track 2, yes. And filter is down. Yeah.
I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm 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 good for the gimmicks.
So there you can hear the distortion. That's called decimate when it's blue. That's corrupt. This is the knob for the corrupt. It's there's only 3 knobs, and it's the 3 first. Let's take the next mode. It's dropout. It sounds like this. Oh, let's turn down the other stuff, of course. else you can't hear it exactly. Sounds like there's a cloud. Clock. Okay. But this is when it makes dropouts. Oh, now I know. The effect is because I have repeats on, so I'll turn them off.
Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks.
So that's dropouts. And then there's destroy.
Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks.
And it's a bit like just overdriving the mixer. And then there are the DJ modes.
I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks.
The DJ modes are not always available, and that depends on the mode you are in. We'll get back to modes later.
I'm good for the gimmicks.
But this is my favorite mode, or favorite corrupt mode.
I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmick. Or gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks.
And this one I will never use, I guess.
Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks.
I may use it for a sample and using it as something to build a sound on. But not in the data bender. I will not use it as an effect.
I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the
Okay,
gimmick.
back to the
I'm
filter.
good for the gimmicks.
So that's the corrupt function. Let's continue with the noise before I tell something about something else in the data bender.
Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for
So
the
I should do
gimmicks.
this.
Good for the gimmicks.
Welcome to the noise
I'm good for
show.
the gimmicks.
And I forgot
Good for the
the delay.
gimmicks. I'm good for the
Noise.
gimmicks.
Noise.
Good for the gimmicks.
Noise.
I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmick. 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 Good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmick. I'm good for the gimmick. I'm good. Good for the gimmicks. The gimmicks. The gimmicks. The gimmicks. The gimmicks. The gimmicks. The gimmicks.
And this is without clock and freeze. Let's turn that on and start the different sequences.
I'm good for the gimmick.
And let's put on some effects. 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 It's nice when everything disappears when you start something. Okay. We'll
Good
get
for the
it.
gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the gimmicks. Good for the gimmicks. I'm good for the I'm good for the get. 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 I'm good for I'm
Yes, it surely is a fun module. You can do lots of things. Let's continue with some of the things. It can freeze, as you know. I'm freezing it. If you can latch it, or you can just, let's say, it will freeze on every second change, positive 0, positive 0, or it will freeze each time it gets a positive. There's no pot meter for the freeze. It's not needed. It's just an input and the button. Boom, 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 boom. There's a threshold on 0.4 volt if you want to know that. Then there is the clock, and if you have noticed the white, when the white come on there, it's when it's clocked. But again, the clock can also be latched. Boom, 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 boom. If it's blue, it's not clocked. It's internal, running on the internal clock. So if you look at the bend, if you can see it changes color at some positions, and that's where it fits the clock. Lots of knobs are like that. Also this one, it turns yellow when you hit a division. This is a time knob, and it turns yellow when you hit a division, and white when the clock comes. I run a very slow clock here. That's also what can make the weird things when you do it slow. That's more fun, I think. That was the clock. There's a lot of shift functions here. Let's take them. Shift time, glitch windowing. We have to go to that again a little later. But we will come to that. Then shift repeats. Repeats is there. It will change the power on the LEDs, so it will dim them. And I like it around there, but then I might not always be able to see that it turns yellow, so I have to turn it a little further up. So around there. Then I can still see it hits yellow, but a little more. There. Now I can see it. The bend, if you twist this and hit a position, you can see it can stay on that position. You can't do that with time. So when it turns yellow, you can't keep it there. I don't know if it's because the clock is repeating and taking over, perhaps. Then there's the shift mix. On these three buttons, what happens when you hold shift is written below them. So shift bend will expand the stereo image from mono, almost mono, to wide stereo. And of course I love wide stereo, so that's why I have it. Then there is shift break, and below it there's written default, and that's because you reset to the default settings. That's very good, because sometimes you are stuck on something and you need to reset. There's another reset here. Let's see. Now I don't do it in the right order. So let's see, where am I? I'm on the corrupt there. Corrupt as buffer reset. Shift corrupt button, corrupt as buffer reset. I have to look that up. But we will do that with all of the different parameters soon. The next one, the freeze, it changes the behavior I told you about the latch before. And then there are the buttons. Let's see. Yeah. I did tell you about these buttons, so let's see. There. Stereo behavior, I told you about the break button, restore default settings, the corrupt button, corrupt as buffer reset. I guess it's when the buffer runs out, it will start corrupting. But we will return to that. And the freeze was the behavior of the freeze function. Then there's the clock button up here, the clock and the mode. And the clock, it changes the gate behaviors. Again, I told you about latching and stuff like that, and if it's clocked or not. So we'll return to that again. And then there is the mode, shift mode, and it changes the possibilities of the corrupt button. I don't know why. I would rather like they were always available, all of them, the DJI modes. Not DJI, the DJ modes. But with this button you can turn them off and on. Good. Let's, before we continue talking about the module, let's add some noise. also some functions when you hold shift and a button and twist a knob. So for example, if you hold shift and bend, then you will change the alternated level on the CV input for the bend. That's how it works for all the CV inputs. So bend and break and corrupt does the same. So that's pretty simple. Let's look at the bend. Should we take that first? Yeah. No, let's talk a little bit about the time knob. The time knob, as you know, it has right now it's blinking white because I'm clocking it. I can take off the clock and put it on in another mode. Well, it's not blue. I expected. There, it's blue. So here I just change the internal clock, and there's really no way to see if you are on a beat but again, it doesn't know the beat you want to be on, so of course not. And if you use it with the dimmed, let's see, the dimmed, boom, 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 it's explained somewhere else. I'll return to the dimmed one. So if you, come on, let's see. Oh, it is the right one. Okay, here you can see it turns yellow when you hit a division. So this is external clock, dimmed white, and when it turns yellow, you hit a division, and the divisions are 16th, 8th, 4th, half, and then 1 time, and 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and 8 times. Those are the divisions you can hit. And you heard me before, heard the module, when I added it as an extra arpeggio above the bass, where I found a division that made it fun to use. That's the clock, and let's see. The repeats, this knob, when fully left, or wait, well, let's start something here. You can see it turns. No, that's the wrong mode. Well, it's fully left. There are no repeats, and then more repeats, and 10 repeats fully clockwise. I think it's 10. It's a lot. It's simple, self-explanatory, and the repeats, of course, are according to the division you have it on here. So then there is the mix knob, and it's simple. It's just wet and dry, and there's something about when you latch or freeze something, then it's still played when it's dry or fully counterclockwise. So what you freeze is still played. The rest of the signal is wet, is the wet signal, and yeah, you know what I mean when I say wet. Let's see, mode, that's up here. You can do the macro mode or the micro mode. It sounds advanced. It's not really, but in the let's see, in the right now I'm in the micro mode. That's where I have the DJ functions on the corrupt parameter. If I change to the other, what? It's still there. Strange. Let's see. Okay. There's something here I didn't understand quite right. But there is macro mode. I'll read what it says. The next two functions, bend and break, vary functionality between modes, which is determined by the mode button. Pressing the mode button selects between macro mode, blue LED, and micro mode, green LED. Three modes are described below. These modes are described below and change the way bend and break work. The rest of Databender's functions are persistent between modes. Yes, so the corrupt, it's more when you hit the shift mode, which is different from these two, macro and micro mode. So macro mode. A macro mode is a set of two controls, bend and break, that have automated parameters based on the clock settings. Macro mode is indicated by blue mode LED. So in blue mode you have the following effects on the bend knob. You can vary speed, pitch changes, and you can get reversed audio playback. That's actually what I played with before. Where when it turned, yeah, when I hit it, it turns yellow, yeah, but green. And still the vinyl clicks and pops. I don't understand what they mean by that. There's also a tape stop function which I haven't found. Perhaps that's for the next week's show. Okay, the brake knob in this mode makes glitches and stutters similar to a scratched CD. It's disjointed playhead movement, synchronized audio dropouts. Okay. Let's see. And then there are a lot of. I should share this. Let's see. Let's see. I'll make it a window that you can use for something. Over here. Boom, 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 boom. Come on. Add a screen. There. Okay, Ecamm is not fast right now. It's kind of hanging. And this is for there, the browser. Okay, it's different than usual. Let's see, can I share screen? There. Yeah, now I'm having it. I believe you can see this. Let's try to make it a size you can use like that. So these are the modes or zones, bend and break knob zones, where there's no bending on the left. And this is when we are in. Let's see. It's not easy to browse Windows on a Mac, it isn't. This is while in macro mode, yeah. So, let's see, like there. So, when bend is turned all left, it's no bending, then it's reverse in the beginning. I don't think it's how I heard it before. And I'm not hearing the tape stop. Let's try to... Yeah. I don't understand that function completely. I gotta read more about that. So right now we'll just skip it and return to it in another show. So let's get back here. And here I gotta close the window like this. Yeah. Let's make some noise. 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 Noise.
60.
Noise, noise, noise. Remember to click like and subscribe if you like what you hear and if you haven't subscribed. And let's continue with some noise. Noise. I have to remember to say it and press a button when I say it. Before I say it, not after I say it. Okay, more noise. I forgot. More noise. 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 Um, I talked about the data bender, and I didn't make it as complete as I thought I would, but I did mention all the things that other people are forgetting. So I think it's okay. The main thing about this is to have fun and to enjoy sound, noise. And there, the effect should have been on, but it's okay. Any questions before we end today? We still have about 10 minutes. Write something in the chat if you have any questions, and remember to like, and if you haven't, then subscribe. Meanwhile, let's make some noise. 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 Thank you for the comments, Philip Funbar or Philip Dunbar, and seeking Oak Taxi. Oak Taxi. Okay. I think you can find a taxi everywhere in Europe, but I don't think you mean that by the name. Okay. About the Polyend Synth. I did talk very good about it earlier, but there are some things that are really stupid. To browse presets, I always have to use two hands because I have to use the shift button, which is on the most right side of the synth, and the scene button, which is on the left side of the synth. So it's annoying. So I can't play while I change preset, and that's quite stupid. But it does have some great sounds. There are some problems if using MIDI with the start note, the first note, the lowest note, which is not very low, which is around the middle C, or perhaps an octave lower, but it's not at 3 octaves below. It's in the middle, and that's stupid. Then you have to lower the sound, but still you can only use half the keyboard when using MIDI. The keyboard on the synth, the Polyend Synth, is great. It has poly aftertouch and all that stuff, but again, you have to remember where the notes are when you play it, because if you take a break from it and get back to it, you can't remember where they are, and you have to relearn, and that's annoying. A normal keyboard, you always know where a C is. Okay, that was a bad preset on the synth, Polyend Synth. Let's find something else. Let's hear this one. Yeah, but totally out of tune compared to the other sounds. Presets in a synthesizer, default or factory presets, shouldn't be out of tune. Did I say sync? I mean tune. All should be tuned. Everything should be perfect when you buy something. Okay, let's see if there were any questions. Boom, boom, boom. There are hand claps from Dave. Yep, you should get a new drum machine. Okay, that's not what it means. Cheers for the show. That's from Steve Elbows. I couldn't chat today, but I've very much enjoyed listening. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. And hi, Cresset. Cheers to you too. And I sing the Body Electric. He thanks me for the stream. And boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Who else have we had today? I sing the Body Electric. I said that. And Dave, I said that. Keith in Watford has been here. And Chris had, of course, Awkward Chief, and Half God, Half Beast, and boom, boom, Keith again. That's about it, at least those who have been writing in the chat. It's getting late, and we are going to eat dinner, even though it's midnight here in Denmark. My wife is waiting for me to put on the rice. So I will have to do that soon. So let's end the show. But before I do that, remember to click like, and if you haven't, then click subscribe. Thank you. And let's end it with some noise. Noise. Noise.